Well, my name is Matt Perkins, and I am a candidate for mayor for the city of Ashland. I have a long history in our community. My family does too. If you have ever had a meal at McClure's restaurant, my aunt and uncle, Ray and Alta McClure, started that. And it was back when, and you probably can remember those days, when eating out was actually a treat. And now more people eat out than eat at home. Uh, so we are now known as a city of restaurants, and I think it's been a plus for us, especially in the tri-state. But my aunt and uncle were kind of the founders of the restaurant movement in Ashland, and I remember growing up in the kitchen of the restaurant, even peeling shrimp with my little tiny fingers to get shrimp cocktails ready for the customers. You know, my family also, my grandmother was a nurse, Pat Brown, and she took care of my grandfather who was sick for many years with kidney disease. And I think watching my grandmother take care of my grandfather and take care of her family uh, touched my heart. And I think that servant spirit has been something that I've carried through. My grandmother is no longer here, but everything I do, I try to honor her memory by taking care of others, and it's been a mission for me. My background, I'm in small business myself. We have secondhand rows. We employ about 15 people. Um, we're open 7 days a week. But just because you have a small business doesn't mean you're a millionaire. In fact, I work 3 jobs, just like most of our citizens. We do a lot of different jobs to make ends meet. I work at a FedEx every morning so that I have health insurance. I know that's a big struggle for many in our community, and healthcare costs continue to rise, and that's why I get up every morning at 3 a.m. to go work from 4 to 7 a.m. So I actually do that before I start my regular job at Secondhand Rose at 10. And then on top of that, I work for our city. I think some of the things that drew me to go be a city commissioner, to run, if you will, was that we were trying to grow our business, and we actually had some issues with the city responding back to us in a timely manner so that I could get an addition built to our furniture store. And so I ran on a campaign of better communication to our citizens. I ran on a campaign of accountability, and I've been trying to do that for the past 2 terms here. One of the big issues I think we're facing as a river city, a small town, is a decline in population and a ever growing poverty situation. Some of the announcements this past week with the pending closing of Bellefonte Hospital, we had the closing of AK Steel, and also the closing of our only emergency shelter, all are obviously big challenges facing us. You know, when I ran for mayor, I knew I'd have to climb a mountain, but I didn't know it was going to be Mount Everest. So, with that being said, what can a mayor do? And what we have to do is work together. Our citizens deserve to have a safe community that has good paying jobs. And we in the government side, we can't put any impediments to making our community business friendly. One of the ways we can do that is to make sure that our streets are clean, our sidewalks are paved, and our storefronts are attractive. You know, when you have a guest coming to your house, what do? You clean up the front porch, you clean up your house, and I feel like that's something that we've been trying to do with our streetscape projects, our redevelopment of Judd Plaza. The intent is that we want, when you come downtown, it to be appealing aesthetically so that you would want to stay downtown. You want to eat downtown. You want to shop downtown. You want to work downtown. And so those projects have been in the hopper for the past couple years. And I think we'll see the fruits of that labor in the next year. We're spending a lot of money, some of it federal dollars, some of it from our own general fund, but we're trying to pull every resource we can to minimize the financial impact to the taxpayer. And that's something else I'm always focused on. Are we doing everything we can to spend the taxpayer dollars efficiently? One of the things I'll tell you about is accountability with the tax dollars. We had an issue on Blackburn Avenue where we just had a contractor complete a project doing sidewalks. And I went out after we had that project completed and reviewed the work. And guess what I found? It wasn't up to our standards. So we had the contractor come back out, rip out the sidewalks, put new sidewalks back in the way it should be. I think that's part of our role in government, especially as elected officials. We have to advocate for you. We have to make sure that your dollars are spent the way you expect them to be spent. We don't want to do anything that gives more money to people that aren't doing a great job. Accountability first. Back to the challenges that we have. So one of the things we have to do is work with our existing partners if a gap opens up, just like with the emergency shelter. I've been in contact with churches. I've been in contact with our leaders at the neighborhood. I've been in contact with the board members of the emergency shelter. What can we do to keep doors open for as long as we can until we have a solution in place? Because you and I know we have citizens every day that struggle with housing. They struggle with jobs. They struggle with food insecurities. So we don't just take care of the top in government. We don't just take care of our best friends. Our role is to take care of every citizen in our community, every taxpayer. That is our charge. We have to take care of everyone. So that's been something that's been important to me in the last 3 days especially, is doing all we can to minimize the impact, the negative impact of not having an emergency shelter. So I'm dedicated to keeping those doors open. I'm also dedicated to keeping our people employed. You know, with 1,000 jobs possibly being lost at 8K Steel and Bellefonte Hospital, we've got to do everything we can to make sure that if jobs are available to those folks that are going to be losing their jobs, that they have an opportunity to get back with employment as soon as possible. One of the things I mentioned last week in our board meeting was, let's get a job fair going. Because if you have a specialty degree like nursing or radiology or any of those specialty programs, there's a good chance you're going to get a job somewhere. It may not be even here. It could be somewhere else where there's a need. But if you're cleaning hospital rooms, if you're working as a cafeteria worker, those are the folks that I'm worried about. Those are the folks that I think could have the most negative impact with these job loss announcements. So I've asked that we pull our economic development department together with Dr. Ferguson, who I contacted, ACTC, Sherry McDavid with FiveCo, to have a job fair down at our transportation center so that we can make sure if any job is out there to keep these people working so they can feed their families, let's do it. Public service to me means taking care of everyone. Public service is a sacrifice, but it's one that I choose to do because I think it's part of, if you're a good community, a faith-based community, it's already in your DNA to do for others. And I think it's been the hardest job of my life, but it's been the most rewarding job of my life. You know, I have worked for 4 years to do everything I can to get your voice heard at City Hall. And I want to continue to do that as mayor. You know, I said, we've got to face every challenge, but we've got to embrace every victory as well. And so we've had some victories, don't get me wrong, but the challenges seem to be shouted much louder than maybe our victories do. But I want to continue to be a champion for you all. I hope that you'll continue to confide in me the issues you need me to handle for you that you can't do. One of the things I want to make sure is that we get our communication lines to City Hall improved. If you make a phone call to City Hall, you should get a voice. If you want to pay a bill online, you should be able to do so. We're going to work on those things. If you need a bus ride, I want to make sure our buses are running at times that are convenient to the people that need to use them. If you need to get to work on a Sunday and you don't have transportation, I'd like to see a bus running on Sunday to get you to work. These are the things that we can do as government. We can't do everything. Government isn't the solution for all. but we can do some things better. You know, to me, the bar, if I reach the bar, I'm going to raise the bar. You know, we can do better. We always must strive to be and do better. And I think with this next commission coming on, I see a opportunity for our taxpayers to see a different type of city that we may not have envisioned for ourselves. I see a future that is bright and positive, and I hope that you all will feel in this time as coming up as I become mayor, that you are invited to be a part of it, that we want you to be a part of it. You are a part of the solution. It's not my ideas that I'm going to be implementing, it's going to be your ideas. You know, I'm looking forward to the future. We together can do this. I'm honored to be your mayor-to-be, and I know that we have a bright future, and I'm hoping that you all will come on down to City Hall and let's do this together. Thank you.